Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I hope that you guys are all doing really well. If this is your first time checking out my channel and hanging out with me for a video, thank you so much for stopping by. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. And if this is not your first time stopping by my channel, thank you so much for coming back. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing a tag for you guys. And as you can see by the title, I'm going to be doing the perfect palette tag. So my friend Andrea, which you guys have heard me talk about her before, she actually did this video on her channel a while back. So I will link her video down below if you're interested in checking it out. But after I watched her video, we were kind of talking a little bit about it, and she was like, girl, you need to do the perfect palette tag, because the last time that she actually was in town here where I live, I showed her some of like the stuff that I have in my makeup collection, and she was like, girl, you need to do the perfect palette tag. So I decided to finally sit down and film the video for you guys today. So I hope that you enjoy it. If you are new, please make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already, so that you can stay up to date on all of my future videos. Also, give this video a thumbs up if you do enjoy it, and if you would like to see what palettes I picked for this tag, then please keep watching. So the very first question of this tag is, which palette do you think has the best packaging? And I had to give it to Too Faced. I have all three of their chocolate bar palettes, and I had to give it to them because I just feel like Too Faced goes above and beyond when it comes to packaging. So this is the original Too Faced palette. This is the chocolate bonbons, which was the third one that they came out. And then this one is the semi-sweet. Now, another reason I had to give it to Too Faced is because not only do they have super cute packaging on all of their products, but with these palettes in particular, they also smell like chocolate. So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, nobody else can beat Too Faced, in my opinion, in this category, because their packaging is super cute and it smells like chocolate. I mean, you just can't beat that. So, had to give it to Too Faced on best packaging. So the next question in this tag is best color payoff. And I actually have quite a bit of palettes that I feel like have really great color payoff. So it was really difficult for me to choose just one. But I decided to go with the one that I'm about to show you, because I feel like nobody ever talks about these and they are amazing. Now, technically, I may be cheating a little bit on this one because they are not technically a palette, but they are in a palette, which this one is a Z palette, and then this one is just a Coastal Scents eyeshadow palette. But these eyeshadows are from Coastal Scents. And the reason that I wanted to mention these is because I believe that these retail for $1.99. You can get them off of Coastal Scents website, and during like Black Friday and Christmas time, they actually sell them for 99 cents, which is when I purchased the majority of these, when they were 99 cents. But I literally never hear anybody talk about these eyeshadows. These are the single eyeshadows. They're called the Coastal Scents Hot Pot eyeshadows. And I'll just swatch like a couple of these for y'all real quick, just so that you can see. But I mean, and that's just like me barely tapping my finger in these shadows. They are super pigmented, and they're only $2, like I said. So I had to give these a shout out. You guys have probably seen me show this one in previous makeup tutorials. This palette is all matte shadows, and they're really easy to blend. They're super pigmented and just really nice shadows for the price, and they have a ton of colors that you can choose from. So I know that this isn't technically a palette, but I do have them in a palette, so it kinda works. But I wanted to mention these because, like I said, nobody ever talks about them, and I feel like they should definitely get way more play. So next up is most versatile, and for this category, I decided to pull out my Kat Von D Shade Light Eye Palette. Now, this palette was actually one that I was kind of on the fence about when it first came out, because I just wasn't really sure if it was a palette that I would use a lot, or if it was just something that I felt like I needed to spend that money on. But the reason why I decided to choose this one for most versatile is just because even though all of the shadows are all matte, they're really pigmented, and you can literally do a ton of different eyeshadow looks in here, because you have your highlight shades, you have your transition shades, you have your lid shades. You literally have every single shadow that you need in here to create a full eyeshadow look. Now, again, of course, it will be a completely matte look, but again, these shadows are super pigmented. They blend beautifully. So even though it's completely matte, I personally, and I have also seen tons of my friends create beautiful eyeshadow looks with this palette. So the next category is best for traveling, and this one was actually a little bit hard because I do have quite a bit of palettes that I think are really great for travel, but I decided to pull out my Lorac Pro and Lorac Pro 2 eyeshadow palettes. The reason why I decided to go with these is because with these palettes, you get, let me see, 2, 4, 6, 8, wait, 2, 4, 6, 8, so 16 shadows. With both of these palettes, you get 16 shadows, and the top row of each palette is matte, and then the bottom row is shimmer. So I really think that these are great for travel because whether you have both of them and you decide to bring both of them, or whether you just have one and you decide to bring just one, I think that these are really great because if you want to just do a really super easy everyday look or just pop a matte shadow in the crease, you can do it with these palettes. Or if you want to like really glam it up and use some shimmer, or if you just want to pop a shimmery shade on the lid, really whatever you want to do while you're traveling, you have the ability to do with these two palettes, because you've got your matte shades, you've got your shimmer shades, you've got your highlight shades, you've got your smoky shades. And I love that with both of these palettes, I believe, yes, with both of these palettes, they both include a great all over the lid like beigey shade or like a highlight under the brow shade, and they both have a black. I think that's so important, especially like when you're traveling or just in general with a palette. I feel like you always need a matte dark black shadow, like you always do. Whenever I have a palette that doesn't have a black, I always end up having to pull other eyeshadow palettes to get a black shade if I want to do like a smoky eye, or if I just want to like define my lower lash line. I feel like you always need a black. So that's one thing that I really love about these palettes. I think that Lorac did a great job of doing a very comprehensive eyeshadow palette, especially with the original one. So I would definitely have to give best for travel to my Lorac Pro original for sure. But if you have the Lorac Pro 2, the two of these together, you'll be set. Alright, so next up we've got biggest regret. And this was a no-brainer for me because I don't have a lot of eyeshadow palettes in my collection that I regret. Just because typically when I purchase eyeshadow palettes, I purchase them from places where I can swatch them, or I look at a lot of reviews and a lot of my friends on YouTube, or just people that I watch on YouTube and get their opinions about the palettes before I purchase them. So I don't have a ton of things in my collection that I regret, but these two palettes I do. So the first one is the Maybelline Blush Nudes, which I hate to have to put this palette in this category, but when I purchased this, I just had such high expectations for it because I know it's kind of supposed to be like a dupe for the Naked, what's it called? The Naked 3. It's supposed to be a dupe for that one. So the shades are really beautiful, and I just had really high hopes for it, but they are not pigmented. Like, some of them are better than others, but overall, I tried to film a makeup look with this palette, and I never put it up because I just couldn't get it to come out the way that I wanted. So I had to put this one in most regret because I literally never use it anymore. And then the other one that I had to put in the regret pile is this eyeshadow palette. It's called the Lorac Afterglow eyeshadow palette. And is that what it's called? The Alter Ego Afterglow eyeshadow palette. But it looks like this. And this is another palette where the pigmentation just isn't there. A long time ago when I first got this palette, I did film a makeup tutorial with it. It came out okay, but now compared to the palettes that I have now, the pigmentation just really isn't there, and I hardly ever reach for this one. So the two of these are definitely in the most regret category. So moving right along, the next category is best color names. And I don't have a ton of palettes that have like amazing names, so this one was also another no-brainer. And I had to give it to my Tartelette in Bloom and my original Tartelette palette. And the reason why I had to choose these is because I really love that the names are like so like inspirational and like empowering and encouraging names. So like, for example, in the original Tartelette palette, some of the names are Free Spirit, Force of Nature, Dreamer, Best Friend, Bombshell, Natural Beauty. Like, I think those are all really great, just empowering names. Some of the ones in the Tartelette in Bloom are Jet Setter, Smarty Pants, Firecracker, Rebel, Sweetheart, Leader, Activist. These two are easily the best palettes that I have for this category for best names of eyeshadow colors, just because I just love that the names are empowering names. So moving on, the next category is least used, and for that one I have to give it to my NYX Avant Pop eyeshadow palette, and this one is in Surreal My Heart. And the reason why I chose this one is because flat out I've literally never used it. Like literally I've never used any color in this palette. I purchased this when I purchased the other Avant Pop eyeshadow palette, and it has like more everyday neutral colors. So that one I do use, but this one, well, this color looks like it's been used. So maybe I've used it once. But besides that, I mean, the colors, they are really beautiful colors, but they're just so like, just, you know, not everyday shades. It's not a palette that I would reach for on an everyday basis. I do want to get more use out of it because, again, the shadows are beautiful. So maybe with the spring and summer coming up, I'll do like some pop of color makeup looks using this palette. But least used would definitely have to go to this one. So we've got just 3 more questions and then we'll be all done with this tag. The next question is most used, and this will probably come as no surprise to you guys, but as of right now, my most used eyeshadow palettes would have to be my Morphe eyeshadow palettes. I have been obsessed with them lately. When they initially came out and everybody was getting on the bandwagon, I wasn't really like completely on the bandwagon with the whole Morphe, just in general, brushes and eyeshadow palettes and all of that. But then Jaclyn Hill came out with an eyeshadow palette. Obviously, she gets me every time. She came out with an eyeshadow palette. I purchased it. It was crazy trying to get my hands on it, but I did purchase it. And after that, I'm like, Morphe is life. Like, they're just life. I don't know what I was doing before them. I don't know why I didn't jump on the bandwagon sooner. They're just everything. So I do only have 2 eyeshadow palettes from them. I have the Jaclyn Hill Favorites, and I also have the Morphe 350. But I do definitely plan on purchasing more palettes from them. So the next question on here is most loved, and I decided to skip over this one just because I don't have a particular palette that I feel like most used and most loved are kind of the same thing, basically. Like, if there's something that I'm using a lot, I'm probably really loving it. I don't know. So I just decided to skip over that one, but I do want to mention it in case any of you guys are interested in doing this tag. It is one of the questions that's on here, but I'm going to skip over it just because I feel like it's the same as most used. So the next and last question is Desert Island. If you were on a desert island, which eyeshadow palette would you bring with you? Now, honestly, if I was going to be on a desert island, I don't know that I would be thinking about bringing an eyeshadow palette, to be perfectly honest. There are plenty of other things that are more important than makeup and eyeshadow palettes, but since this question is on here, the eyeshadow palette that I decided to go with is the Lorac Unzipped eyeshadow palette. And it's probably kind of like silly reasons for why I picked this one, but I was kind of thinking, okay, if I'm on a desert island, that means I'm on a beach. And it also means it's probably going to be pretty sunny, and I'm probably going to be pretty tan and kind of bronzy. So if I'm like on a desert island and hopefully not trying to like fight for my life, I'm probably going to want to be looking kind of bronzy and cute. And so I feel like this palette would be really good for that because it's got the matte shade. So if you want to keep it, you know, simple, you can do that. But it's got some gorgeous shimmer shadows in here. Like gorgeous. Beautiful for all over the lid, and they would be perfect for, like, when I look at this palette, I just see spring and summer. Like, spring and summer all day long. Like, the shimmer shadows, like I said, are perfect for all over the lid. Even if you just want a really nice wash of a bronzy color on your lid, this palette is perfect for that. Or if you just need a really nice transition in the crease and then you want to throw on some lashes or liner, this palette is perfect for that. And then also too, if you want to smoke it out and make it a little bit more, you know, dramatic and like sultry, you can do that with this palette as well. So I decided to throw this one in the desert island category just because I think it would be perfect for if you're going to be in that type of scenario, like on a beach. I feel like this one would be great. Alright guys, so that is all I've got for you for today's video, the perfect palette tag. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I've had this video on my list for the longest time, so I finally wanted to sit down and film it for you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching it. And of course, I tagged all of you guys to do the perfect palette tag as well. If you've already filmed one, feel free to leave it in the comment section down below. I would love to check it out. Or if I mentioned any palettes that you were like, that is dead spot on, girl, like yes, that's perfect for that category, story, let me know in the comments down below as well. I always love chatting with you guys down there. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye.